Hey, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the P38 Mitogen-Activated Protein Kinase, MAP kinase, signaling pathway. So, major understanding in this video about the P38 protein. So, here is a cell which that's contain chromosome and the chromosome contain DNA. And whenever the inflammatory cytokines, the lipopolysaccharide or UV radiation, etc. whenever will target to the cell, so in this way the cell get the signal from the cell surface receptor. So it can also cytokines or other and the paracrine signaling. So will lead to basically the whole thing is that the stress signal. So whenever the stress will increase, for example the UV radiation, microwaves and others, basically is the inflammatory cytokines whenever will target to the cell surface receptor will lead to activate the DNA to P38 control the inflammatory response by DUSP1. So what is the DUSP1? We will understand this dual specificity phosphatase 1 enzyme. So it is known as. So the P38 activation, the P38 alpha and beta can lead to the expression of DUSP1 is a phosphatase. DUSP1 is a phosphatase that dephosphorylate and inactivate the P38 protein. This mechanism act as a component to dampen the inflammatory response. So it will lead to damp the inflammatory response. In this way, the more inflammation will not occur due to the DUSP1 protein, DUSP1 enzyme. So here is the receptor. This receptor is here is the plasma membrane and the nucleus, and this cytoplasm between the plasma membrane and nucleus, and this is the extracellular stimuli. So whenever it will be bound with the receptor, the cell surface receptor collectively and generally we can say that. So I am not talking about the specific receptor, so remember. In this way, it will be phosphorylate intracellularly and initiate the signaling primary signal. So initial signaling is the MAP kinase. The MAP kinase will activate. In this way, the MAP, that is why it is known as also the MAP kinase signaling pathway. Previously I have discussed. So in this the MAP kinase 3, 4 and 6 activation, the Mitogen kinase, and in this way it will lead to activate the P38 gamma and epsilon. P38 MAP kinase pathway is a critical signaling cascade that play a central role in inflammation, immune response, cell growth, differentiation and apoptosis in certain type of cell, for example immune cell, skin cell, epithelial cell and endothelial cell. So in this way the MKK 3, 4 and 6 protein activation will lead to trigger the P38 alpha and beta. But on the other hand, the P38 gamma and epsilon also possibly directly target to the nucleus, but it is unclear, while the P38 alpha and beta will trigger the MK2 protein activation in the cell nuclear protein will activate the transcription factor, while on the other hand the MSK1 and 2 will activate the to become a transcription factor, and this MSK1 and 2 will synthesis and basically translate the for example this P38 alpha and beta will translate the through MK2 interleukin 6 1 beta and tumor necrosis factor alpha, while on the other hand the interleukin 1 RA and interleukin 10 and DUSP1 will activate. So what is the story behind the DUSP? DUSP1 prevent the prolonged stress and inflammation. Remember, it will inhibit whenever the more and more inflammation occur. So this is stress response genes activate the DNA regulation of genes to production of cytokines, inflammatory mediators for immune activation or others. So anyhow, in this way, this interleukin 1 alpha and interleukin 10 basically work differently. Whenever the DUSP1 increase, it will inhibit the P38 alpha and beta protein, while whenever the DUSP1 decrease, so it will trigger the P38 phosphorylation to activate the inflammatory mediators. In this way, this feedback regulation and homeostasis within the cell is very important, and this is a dual specificity phosphatase enzyme, DUSP1. So in this way, the interleukin 1 alpha will trigger the inflammation and the cyclic response will occur. While on the other hand, the interleukin 10 basically trigger the interleukin 1 beta and interleukin 10 will lead to inflammation decrease, while the anti-inflammatory pathway. So in this is the anti-inflammatory, this interleukin 1 beta, and it will compete with the other interleukin 1. So remember, it will inhibit the more further inflammation. So this is the major mechanism, and in this way the DUSP1 will regulate this whole process. This is the P38 protein mechanism and signaling pathway, and how to control, how to decrease and how to increase. So remember, on the basis of requirement, the DUSP1 protein enzyme involved for the regulation and homeostasis. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe.